Intoxication from alcohol is not inherently sinful. Yeah, I know this is going to put a lot say, fundamentalists on a complete tirade. It's not inherently sinful. Some of it, again, is going to depend upon circumstances. Now, there is a couple circumstances where it is prohibited. If you happen to be the high priest, if you're a king, or a ruler, or a man with lots of responsibility, you should not be constantly intoxicated. This basically one of the things for example, in the Old Testament, kings and the high priests were forbidden to get sloshed. However, when we read, say, passages in the Old Testament, we have in the book of Ruth where Boaz is in the granary after the day's harvest, and he cooks himself some grain and basically pours himself wine. And it says in the text, his heart was warm. This is an Israelite euphemism for over the legal drinking limit. He was drunk, and Ruth approaches him when he's drunk and proposes a marriage contract. And he goes, yeah, sounds good to me. I'm in my 50s, you're in your 30s. Sure, good. Sounds like a good business transaction to me. But Boaz was intoxicated. He was drunk. I'll take another example. At the wedding at Canaan, where Jesus changes the water into wine. And the wine steward says, well, who serves the good wine after everyone's drunk? The idea here is that everyone is so intoxicated that they can't tell the good wine from the bad wine anymore, so you serve the bad wine at the end. You start with the good wine because everyone still has their faculties and their taste buds in place. So the idea here is that everyone is getting schnockered at the wedding in Canaan. This is part of these wedding festivities, is that people were getting drunk. And frankly, we're going to be honest about this. Okay, we've got to be very honest about this. If this is a good wine, okay, now we have to understand what we mean by good wine here. This is the high octane stuff. Jesus didn't make, let's just say, weak wine. He wasn't making grape juice. He made the high octane. We also have, for example, in the Torah law, where you were a long, long distance away from being able to go to the tabernacle to give your offerings, your tithes. The law states that you could take your tithes, exchange it for money, and then spend that money as your heart desires, including food and strong drink. Now, strong drink is very strong wine. And we do know that Israel had the capacity to produce strong wine.